Hi, everybody. This video is going to be a skills video associated with section 2.1. Section 2.1 is about limits, but there's a skill that's necessary when you do limits, and that's factoring. It's going to come up a lot in actually doing limits. So let me share my screen, and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, so we want to factor 3qa squared minus 3qv squared. Well, the first thing you do when you're factoring, always the first thing is look for any common factors. And so I'm factoring out the 3q because I have a 3q times a squared and I have a 3q times v squared. Just want to highlight them so you get my gist. So there's my 3q right there. And let's give it a nice. There's my 3q right there. And I'm factoring that out. So I'm factoring out the common 3q. And now I have 3q times a squared minus v squared. Well, this a squared minus v squared is really familiar to us because we all know from algebra, that's what they call the difference of two squares. So that's equal to now. Now, don't forget don't forget the 3q. Sometimes people get all involved in continuing the problem. They forget. So the final answer is going to be 3q times a plus v times a minus v. And again, just putting a little note here, that was because of the difference of two squares. I'm gonna make that actually. Okay. Now let's look at another problem. Factor d squared minus 7d plus 12. So we all know that what we want to do is we're going to find two numbers that add up to -7. And multiply to positive 12. So what are those two numbers? Well, I could try 12 times 1. Well, 12 times 1 ain't going to do it. What are two numbers? Well, I think most of you could figure out that the two numbers are, and I'm going to put them right here. I'm going to set everything up beautifully right here. I'm going to put a D there. I'm going to put a D there. And the two numbers are going to be -3 and -4. So I'm going to put a -3 and a -4. So just make it a little proper. So d squared minus 7d plus 12 is equal to d minus 3 times d minus 4. This will be relevant is relevant for a lot of things, and it's going to be particularly relevant in taking limits of certain functions. Okay, let's do another one. We're going to look at, let's look at this guy right down here. B to the third power plus 5b squared minus 36b. We want to just factor that. That's all I want to do is factor it. So the first I'm going to factor out any common factors, the same skill I used up here. And I see that everything has a b. So this is going to be b times, drum roll please, let's see, b squared plus 5b minus 36. And of course, I just want to make that into an exponent. So I took out the common b. There's a b and b to the third, there's a b and b squared, and there's a b and 36b. Took that all out. Now I'm going to use the second skill that we did over here. So I'm going to find two numbers that add up to -36 and multiply. That add up to +5 and multiply to negative 36. So I want to find those two numbers. And now don't forget the b. And I put a b there and a b there. Now, what two numbers add to positive 5 and multiply to negative 36? Well, those two numbers are going to be positive 9 and negative 4. Because 9 times negative 4 is negative 36. 9 plus negative 4 is positive 5. And that is factored. Here's a nice problem. Let's factor 60x to the third and plus 116 x, and then minus 56 56x. Let me just fix this up a little bit. That should be x squared, and this should become x. Let's just do it that way. X to the third and pound. So let's just do this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the skill of factoring out common factors. And I see I have a common factor of 4x. 4x. So I'm going to factor out a 4x because 4 goes into 60, 4 goes into 116, 4 goes into 56, nothing else does. And now I'm going to have 15 times x to the second plus let's see, what is 116 divided by 4? That's 29. 29 times plain x. Finally, minus 56 divided by 4 is everyone knows is 14. Okay. Now, what I want to do here is this is going to be a little, well, let's just do it. 4x times, this is something, again, these are skills that you know probably did in algebra, and so we see we have the 15 here. We have the 15 right there. So that inspires us to put a 3x and a 5x. So I'm going to put 3x, and the reason is, and 5x. And that's because the 3 times 5 gives you the 15, because 3x times 5x gives you 15x squared. Now I got to figure out what to add here. Now I know that 14 is 2 times 7. So I'm going to put a 2 somewhere and a 7 somewhere. I see I need a big number to get that 29. So let's put that. So I'm going to put the 7 over here. I'm going to put the 7, and it's a positive 29, so I'm going to make it plus 7. And now, well, the only possibility left is minus 2. Now, if you FOIL this out, you will get, well, 4x times 15x to the 5th. Let's just do it right there. Times 15x to the 5th and plus 35x, and then minus 6x. And that is is going to simplify. That is going to simplify. Well, let me just put that right there. This, of course, this here, 35 minus 6 will give me my 29. So this is going to work. Anyway, the final answer is, let's highlight this in this color. The final answer is that 60x to the third plus 116x squared minus 56x winds up being 4x times 3x plus 7 times 5x minus 2. And that works. I just want to make a little note here that to achieve that 15x squared, you see, I said 3x and 5x. It could have just as well been 1x and 15x. And I wanted to achieve that 14. So it could have been minus 14. I'm just, and then plus 1. Now, this particular, I'm just going to write could have possibly been. It could have possibly been this. Well, but it wasn't. In other words, I made my first guess 3 and 5. I made my second guess 7 and 2, but it could have been 1 and 15 or 1 and 14 or any combination. It could have been a 3 and a 5 and then a 1 and a 14. It could have been any combination of all these things, a lot of combinations. And the truth is, if I couldn't get it to work with the 3x and 5x, I would have had to try with the x and the 15x. And that is, a lot of, I'm not listing out every single combination, but you kind of have to go through all the combinations and find one that works. Now, if you're lucky enough to find one that works right away, then that's it, you're gold. And we did find one that worked, pretty quick. It wasn't total guessing, it was a little skill. Because I realized that I want 7 times 5 is 35, which is a big number. I knew I wanted that big number. I'm just saying that's the game. That's the game, as we say. So let's let me just I want to put this note in italics and just leave it like that. Okay. Now let us go on to another one. So let's look at this this problem now. 7u squared minus 5 minus 34u. Well, the first thing I want to do is put this in order. So let's just rewrite this in proper order, and let's just do that. So let's just do it right now. Oops. That's equal to 7u squared. Oops. Looks like I got a 7u squared minus 34u minus 5. So now, since 7 is a prime number, I can only have since 7 is a prime number, the only possibilities are u and 7u. Oh, 7u sounds like 7 up. Set u and 7u. Those are the only actual possibilities here. So what I'm going to look now is at that 5. So again, I have a big middle term. I have a minus 34. So minus 34. Wow. If I have a minus 34, I'm going to put a negative 5 over here. And because I want to get the 7 times 5 to get that big negative 34. Now, the next number, well, first of all, it has to be plus 1 because negative 5 times positive 1 multiplies out to negative 5. But also, I get 35u minus 1u. So this winds up equaling, if I would FOIL it out, I wind up getting 7u squared. Wind up getting 7u squared minus 35u plus 1u. Now I'm writing 1u. I normally don't bother writing the 1, but I'm going to do it here just to get the 1. And finally I get minus 5. And this does equal our original problem. So my final answer is final answer. Let's highlight this now. What's this? U minus 5, 7U plus 1. Again, this delightful little soiree was just doing some factoring problems, which is a skill that's going to be necessary for finding limits in section 2.1. Anyway, everybody, it's been lovely, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye everyone. Bye. Oops, oh, I did the wrong thing. Trying to stop video. Stop.